Hello and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today I'm going to talk about Beyond Meat and I'm going to cover their financials as well as technicals on the charts and determine whether this is a good buy or we should just hold on right now. If you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. The objective of the channel is to get you guys information and not to persuade you to buy something or not buy something. Really, it's just objective to get you guys information. I think when you have the information, when you are in that position to make that decision, at least you have some information to make that decision. Otherwise, a lot of times you're going into stocks, not really knowing a lot of things about it and end up losing a lot of money. So the objective of the channel is to get you guys information and not really a financial advice per se. So let's look at their financials first, okay? Market cap of the company is about 810 million. I think this is fairly a medium-sized company, not a small company, not a large company, a medium-sized company. 52-week range is about $11.56. That's the lowest they got to. And $77 is the highest they got to. So they have the potential to go up to $77. That's the highest they got to within 52-week range. On an average, the volume, the shares that are traded for this particular stock are about 3.2 million, which is a fairly large number, right? Because we had a Thanksgiving, so there weren't a lot of volume traded. For this to close of Friday, it was about 627,000, which is not a lot because, the holiday season and everything. So EPS is negative 4.03. EPS is earnings per share, which means that the company is spending more than they're making. So they're not really making a lot of revenue right here. And the P-share is just not available right now. On the income statement, the total revenue they have is about 439 million. So even if you see 439,000, all the numbers are in thousands. So this is 439 times 1,000 becomes 439 million. That's the total revenue. Cost of revenue is 446, which means that they got the revenue, but the cost to make that revenue was 446 million, and which ended up costing them a gross profit of negative 6.5 million. Again, same thing. EPS is negative, which means they're not making money. So the revenue is there, but it's just the cost of revenue is still really high. They need to bring that down in order to be profitable. As far as the balance sheet is concerned, the total assets they have is about 1.3 billion. Total liabilities is about 1.2 billion, and total stockholders' equity is 132 million. Now, which is a good thing, right? Because when you have more assets than liability, which means if you go bankrupt, you have assets to cover your liabilities. So stockholder equity is in positive, which is 132, which is still down from 2020, which was 367. However, they're still in positive for the stockholders equity, which is a good sign. Cash flow. Operating cash flow is, operations, whatever they're doing daily, and if they're making money on that or not. So this is negative 380 million. Investing cash flow is about negative 113 million, which means if they're buying different companies or doing any other things that are there where they're investing the money, like long-term investment, things like that, that's negative 113 million. Every company does that. It's not new. And cash position is about 392 million, which is a good sign as well. So they got two positives. They got positive stockholders equity and they got enough cash on hand. If they do go bankrupt, for example, they have cash on hand to liquidate or whatever they need to do. So they could come out of it clean, right? And then it comes down to if you have a preferred stock or a common stock with them, would you get paid or not? So as far as the institutional holdings are concerned, it's about 42.2%, which is a good number. It's not a very small number. It's not a very big number. It's like a medium. As I said, the company is a medium-sized company. Ownership from the institutional banks are also like a medium. So 42.27%. As far as the increased position, 108 institutions have increased their position by 3.3 million. However, decreased position is 139, which means that 139 institutions sold out off their position, and which is about 15 million. As for the new positions, 35 institutions bought in, million shares, 61 institutions came out of the position, so they sold out 3.2 million. So if you do the net, there's more selling than buying happening for the stock, which is true when you see the stock is down 55%. As for the analysts from these firms, they are setting a price target for the stock is about $14 the highest, $10.56 the average, and the lowest it get to $5. And we're going to go to the technicals and we'll see what levels I see there. Now, this is a very noteworthy thing I have for short interest. Short interest is about 42.45%, which is really, really high. Anything above, 10% in my opinion, 10 to 12%, it's really high. 42 is very high, okay? Now, when you have a short interest like this, that means the majority of the traders are thinking of shorting the stock, meaning like they're selling off the stock, buying it from the market when it goes down. You could potentially see a short squeeze on the stock. For example, how short squeeze work is you have a lot of traders selling off, these shares, and they're going to buy it back from the market when they get lower. And let's say you have a large sum of money smart money comes in from institutions, and they buy some large sum of shares, which is going to cause the price to go up. People that are shorting, or the traders that are shorting, will have to cover their positions in order to not lose money on their position. When they do that, the price of the stock is going to shift even higher. And you have a lot of traders which are trend traders. You might have seen that price action standpoint. They see the trend moving up, they will get in and causing the price to even go up higher even further, which end up causing a short squeeze, which you might have heard of, GameStop, AMC. They had a bit of short squeezes that caused the stock to go berserk. So 42% is really high for the stock. So let's look at the charts and see what's happening here. As I said, the stock is down 55%. I'm on a daily chart. Even on a daily chart, for example, from 11.15, the stock is down from $17 to $12. I mean, there's a doji candle right here. If you can see right here, there's a doji candle right here, which is usually a reflection of a reversal. Potentially, the stock could bounce off of this support right here, which I have on $11.50, and go back to, $16 or $14.98. However, the way this is going, there were some negative catalysts came out as well. That Beyond Meat facilities were not clean. That was like 5 days ago. There's a lot of negative catalysts coming out for the stock as well, for the company itself in general, which causing the stock to go down further. So, as I said, the analysts are thinking the stock is going to go to $5. There are no established support from many months before. If I go to monthly chart, for example, if you notice here, there's no support here that would say, okay, he's going to stop here, it's going to reverse. So right now, this is all brand new. This is like a falling knife. So in my opinion, right now, I would let this thing fall off and see where it goes. It could potentially go to $5 or $6, for that matter, because there's nothing there. And if you go to daily chart, for example, now this is a support, right? If you notice here, there's double bottom being created right here. So now that means that a lot of traders are agreeing, okay, the price could potentially be at $12.72, and there's a double bottom right here. So the price came in. A lot of traders said, you know what, this is the true price. I could buy the stock here. That caused the price to go up to $16, $17, and then came back down to the same level, the same support level. Here again, a lot of folks that missed the opportunity came back in and say, you know what, $12, $11.56 sounds like a right price for the stock, and bought in. The stock price went up again. It's coming down back at this level again. Now, if it crosses this level, it could potentially go down to $9, $10, $8, $6, $5. There's nothing, no prediction here, because there's nothing established right now. Unless the majority of the traders think that this, the right price is going to be $10, then of course, the buying is going to happen there. The price is going to go up. So in this case, it could come down to the same level, bounce back up, or it could potentially Monday, it could just potentially go back up to, this is something that you would have to, we'll have to, log in at 9:30 and see what's happening with the stock. And if it seems like a right position, there's no level here, right? It could potentially stop right here at $14, but if it goes up, it could potentially go back up to $15.79 and then fall back down. But again, at this point, I'll be very careful. I'm very careful with this stock. I'm not going to get into the position on Monday immediately. I'm going to see how this does. But definitely a good opportunity for the stock. I do have faith in the company. They do have a lot of cash flow. The balance sheet is really good. Now, I will definitely see for a reversal here. Again, they have a good balance sheet, good cash flow. Stock was at $40-some. So there's a lot of potential here. I'm very, it's a double-edged sword. So I'm going to have to see how this happens. If it does reverse and I could potentially see the stock going back up, I'm just going to get into the position at that point. Because I do feel the company does have some potential here. But at this very moment, Monday is just a watch and see game right now. So hope you guys like this video. If you did, do give it a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.